Good morning, everybody. My name is Patrice Kennerson. I am the Veteran Services Coordinator for Central Texas College, and I'd like to welcome you to this month's web session. Today, we're going to go over a very important topic that seems to be reoccurring. But before we do that, I do want to remind everybody pretty much that this is an informative session, pretty much just to inform you of some important information. This is not a status check web session, so if you have any information regarding your specific account, I just want to remind everybody that any questions regarding the status check of any certifications can be sent to veterans.services@ctcd.edu. Again, if you have any questions regarding any status checks regarding your certifications, those questions can be directed at veterans.services@ctcd.edu. Just a recap of what we covered last month. I just want to go over the information that we covered. Pretty much what we discussed last month was pretty much we discussed how to apply for VA benefits. We discussed how to register for getting into Central Tech College, how to register for VA benefits, where and how to basically to complete your VA paperwork and forms, specifically your Veterans Enrollment Certificate, how to complete that online, how to complete that through our eTree system, and also how to complete your Veterans Enrollment Certificate on paper and how to submit that. We also gave instructions how you can complete the add drop form in cases where if you as a student have to drop a course and add a course in its place, how you go about completing that as well. We also discussed pretty much what forms are needed for any type of particular benefits, like if you're on chapters 30, which is the Montgomery GI Bill, chapters 35, which is the Dependent Educational Assistance, chapter 1606 and chapter 1607, which have to do with National Guard. If you're on chapters 31, which is vocational rehab, or chapters 33 and chapters 33 dependents, which deals with post 9/11 and those specific paperworks which you would have to submit. We also discussed pretty much how to submit those documents, and there's a number of ways of how to do that. You can submit them pretty much through the website, or you can make an appointment. We also have, if you have scanning capability, you can scan those documents and submit them to email. And we also have the capability of you faxing those documents in, and we do have a phone number for that as well, which is 254-526-1480. And we also finally discussed how you can actually get in contact with our Federal Services staff members here pretty much through WebEx, through our WebEx chat line services, if you had any additional questions specifically. What we're going to go over today, and I feel this is a very important topic, especially with spring registration coming and still continuing pretty much, is I want to really speak to y'all about today pretty much is what's been happening. Is been a lot of students have been going through or pretty much been frustrated over the fact that there's been a lot of drops for non-payment. And we are really wanted to discuss pretty much is how to pretty much avoid pretty much how to avoid being dropped for non-payment. So what I wanted to do is kind of like give you some tips on how to avoid being dropped for non-payment. And one of the most important tips pretty much, especially if you're using particular chapters, like for example, chapters 30, which is the Montgomery GI Bill, and in chapter 35, which is the Dependent Educational Assistance, and chapter 1606 and chapter 1607, which basically deal with the National Guard and Army Reserve. These particular chapters, specifically, you must pay out of pocket for these classes before benefits can be paid out to you as a student. Now, unless you have some kind of financial resources that are going to pay for these classes. Again, yes, you must pay for these classes out of pocket first, and these classes must be paid for by the business office. Now, in order for us to go ahead and process these benefits for you, you have to go ahead and basically provide a receipt to us in order for us to go ahead and process these benefits. And yes, in addition to any paperwork, we have to have that receipt for you. So this will actually help you keep from being dropped for non-payment. So, and this receipt does have to show your account to be paid in full, partially. And the reason for that is that unless you also have some kind of payment plan set up with the business office, and you do have to bring proof of that payment plan as well. And what we'll do is we'll make a copy of that payment plan, and we'll basically give that. We'll give you back the original. We'll keep the copy of the payment plan here with us as well in this office. So any kind of proof that you have showing basically that you have basically paid off your your semester in full for that term will be more than sufficient. Again, but this is only for chapter 30, chapter 35, 1606, and 1607. But yeah, like I said, for these particular chapters, these chapters have to be paid in full pretty much before we can go ahead and process your benefits. And before we go ahead and go any further, pretty much, and this is for new students as well as any pretty much any reoccurring students that are coming back, and for the most part, um, any students who are using chapters 31 and chapter 33, since these students pretty much as yourselves are not required to pay out of pocket. Now, unless you are 100% covered by the VA, if you are 100% covered by the VA, you pretty much have a small window to pretty much get to us to make arrangements. So we can go ahead and make arrangements with the business office. And what we do by that is that as soon as you register for classes, you have to get to us as soon as possible. And what by means is that we can go ahead and make business with the arrangements office, excuse me, make arrangements with the business office so we can go ahead and place your classes on hold to keep you from being dropped. But the way that works is that you would have to get to us immediately. And what that means is that you would have to make sure that you complete your veterans enrollment certificate, making sure that you list all the classes. And again, those classes have to coincide with what's on your degree plan. So make sure that all of that is correct. But that's only if for chapter 33 that you are 100% covered. Now, for chapter 31 as well, yes, you also have to make sure that your veterans enrollment certificate is also 100% covered and making sure that your classes coincide with your degree plan. So, with that said, if you are 100% covered, and yes, and making sure that if you are or have all your classes completed as far as what you're taking for that term, you want to make sure at the time that you register, knowing that you are not required to make payments, as soon as you complete your veterans enrollment certificate, whether it is in person or whether it's online, you want to make sure you get to us as soon as possible because again, you only have a small window before the time you finish registering and the time you get to us so we can make arrangements with the business office to go ahead and we place you so we can make arrangements to go ahead and do on hold to keep you being dropped for non-payment. Now basically the way that works is that we go ahead and we send a voucher over to the business office so that way that voucher will keep you on hold to keep you from being dropped. So until we go ahead and finish processing your benefits. Now, at the time of registration, pretty much, now for students in this case who are not 100% covered by veteran services, so say for instance, students who have benefits who are, say for instance, who are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%, or less than 100% covered, better to be put that way. Now, in this case, for those individuals who are less than 100%, covered, you have a two-step process here, and this is very, very important. For students who are less than 100% covered, the two-step process is this. Yes, you still have to get with Veteran Services and present all of your documentation, such as your Veterans Enrollment Certificate, so we can go ahead and process your benefits as normal. But yet at the same time, the percentage that's not covered by the Veterans Affairs, you still have to pay that percentage that's not covered by the VA. So as I was saying, for those who are not 100% covered, like I said, there's two steps you have to be involved here. The first step, as I stated, again, yes, you still want to go ahead and get all of your information to the Veteran Service Office for processing. And again, the most important step is that if you're not 100% covered, the percentage that's not covered, again, the same day you register for classes, you want to go ahead and get that percentage that's not covered paid for at the business office, or else you will be dropped for non-payment. Okay? So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to go ahead and chat in the box so we can go ahead and further explain that. Okay. So again, as students, you want to make sure that all the required documents are sent to us so we can go ahead and process them in the same time. Okay. So we just want to make sure that we don't accept partial documents. So whatever documents are needed in regards to whatever benefit you're using, if you have any questions in regards to what documents are needed for your particular benefit, ask what documents are needed so we can make sure we tell you what documents are needed for your particular benefit. Don't send in one document at a time. Make sure you ask to see what all documents are needed to make sure we get all those documents together, because we don't process partial documents at a time. It would be a lot easier if you get everything together, because what this will do is that this will keep from delaying in processing. So there are several ways you can go ahead and submit these documents. The best way is you can go ahead and you can submit the documents by email, and our email is veterans.services@ctcd.edu, and that's veterans as V is in Victor, E is in elephant, T is in tango, E is in elephant, R is in road, A is in alpha, N is in Nancy, S is in Sam, dot S is in services, E is in elephant, R is in road, V is in Victor, I is in Ivy, C as in Charlie, E as in elephant, S is in Sam, at CTCD, Charlie Tango, Charlie Delta.edu. That's one way you can go ahead and submit the documents. Another way you can submit your Veterans Enrollment Certificate, we do have the option to go ahead and complete that. You have the option to go ahead and complete your Veterans Enrollment Certificate online. I know I showed how you can do that, how you actually were able to go ahead and complete that last week. And again, you can go ahead and complete your Veterans Enrollment Certificate online. And you can also print out a paper copy if you like to and complete that. And you can scan it and submit it through the website, through the email address as well. Another way you can also scan the documents, and you can also fax them to us as well. And we do have a fax number. You can submit them at the fax number at 254 526 1480. Again, that number is 254 526 1480. Or however, we do have appointments where students can contact us, and there's two ways you can contact us. You can contact us at the number 254 526 1666. And there's another number you can contact us at 254 526 1205 for an appointment where we can set you up between Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Because of the short time we have on Fridays, there is no appointment on Fridays, but we can set you up for an appointment between Monday and Thursday at those time frames. And you can more than welcome to bring the documents in, and we'll be happy to assist you at any time between Monday and Thursday, again from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also, and this is also very, very important. Anytime, and we know at times there are situations where classes can be canceled due to no fault of your own, and there are times where classes can be canceled due to the fact there's lack of enrollment, or however, you may have to change a class due to circumstances. If that's the case and you have to add a class, and the class happens to have a different section number, what happens in this case is, unfortunately, if a class is canceled due to the fact that there is due to a lack of enrollment, I will tell you, as a department, we are not notified if the class is canceled. So unfortunately, it will be up to you as the student to notify us if the class is canceled, and because we do not receive that information. So what you will have to do is you do have to notify us, and if that is the case, and you sign up for a new class, you do have to complete a new veterans enrollment certificate. Or in this case is, if you had signed up for a previous class and you want to drop that class and add a new class, you will have to complete um, a Central Texas College add and drop form in this case. But otherwise, especially if it does have a different section number, you do have to let us know that, especially if you're using chapter 31 and chapter 33, because this is crucial. Because if you don't notify us, we have to make arrangements in order for you to keep that class from being dropped. Otherwise, you will be dropped for non-payment. And that's why it's very, very critical for you to let us know if you have registered for another class, if your other class was dropped and you added another class. That's why it's critical to go ahead and complete another veterans enrollment certificate if you sign up for another class, or if the other class was previously dropped. We have to make those changes specifically, especially if the previous class was certified or if the previous class was dropped, wherever the situation may be. So just remember, if you had a previous class that was canceled due to lack of enrollment, or if you had to drop out of that class for whatever reason, and you signed up for a new class, and if it had a different section number or just a completely new class altogether, just remember to let us know, especially if you're using chapters 31 or 33. That way we can go ahead and do what we need to do and make the changes so you do not get dropped for non-payment. Um, so that pretty much are some tips how you can go ahead and avoid, um, you know, pretty much avoid getting dropped for non-payment. So that way you don't to lose, especially if it's hard to get back in, especially if you have already been started, doing the work for that class. Because if you find out you've been doing the work for that class all this time and then you get dropped for non-payment, and if the census date is passed, unfortunately, it's pretty much difficult to almost impossible to get back in that class after this particular time period. So again, pretty much those are the tips on how you can pretty much avoid getting dropped for non-payment. If you have any questions regarding that, I would be happy to assist you in those questions thus far. What I also wanted to talk about pretty much is the withdrawal process. We've pretty much had some questions on the withdrawal process. And what I wanted to also share with you is how to actually withdraw, basically. So students also had a question on and pretty much consequence, and I also want to discuss a little bit of the consequences of withdrawal. So again, on how to withdraw first, as far as the withdrawal process go, and I like to advise all students, if you have to withdraw, we would like for you to come and speak to us about withdrawing first. And we would like to counsel the students that if you have to withdraw, we understand. you know Sometimes life circumstances does get in the way, and if you have to leave the class, yes, we do understand you do have to get out of class. But however, please be advised that if you sign up for a class and that class has already been certified and you already been paid by the VA for that class, be advised that if you receive money from Veteran Affairs for that class and you are now asking us to withdraw withdraw you from that class, VA will be asking you to pay back the money for that class. We're just letting you know that first of all. So we want to give you a heads up on that part. So with that said, if you still have to withdraw from the class for whatever reason, the first step is that you do have to withdraw from that class with the registrar's office, and it does have to be on record. Once you withdraw from the registrar's office, then the next step you have to do is you do have to complete an add drop form with us. And the way you can actually get the add drop form is you would have to come here, and what you can do is, let's see, and you can actually get the add drop form online. And if you bear with me one moment, I can actually show where you can get it. Okay. So what you can do is you can go to www.ctcd.edu, and you'll go under student tools. I'm sorry, you go under students, and you go under military veterans. And then off to the left-hand corner, you'll go under veterans benefits. And then in the middle of the page, if you scroll all the way down, to where it says number 4, you'll fill out the VA add drop form. Go ahead and click on this form. Okay, and here it is. And this is the actual add drop form that a student will use to go ahead and complete. Hold on, let me go ahead and get this out the way for you so you'll get a better view. Okay, so, and here's the biggest confusion part. A lot of students confuse this with actually adding a class. Now, if you're just adding a class, this is not the form you want to complete. The form you want to complete for adding a class would be the Veterans Enrollment Certificate. Now, you can add a class down here if you're dropping a class and you're adding a class in its place. But if you're dropping a class, this is the form you definitely want to complete. But this is only after you follow the first procedure and dropping the class with the registrar's office. So here's the information you do want to complete. You do want to fill all of this out completely. And we have to have all this information so we can completely do what we need to do, whether it's an amendment or an adjustment or a complete termination of the certification that's in the system once we've done what we need to do. So you want to fill out all this information completely. You do want to list the term that you're terminating or having us adjust for whatever semester. And you do want to list the course name and number here of the class that you're dropping. If you know the number of credits, that's fine. The first day attended and the last day attended. Whatever course you're adding in this place, that's where you want to add here. And there's an important statement here, and your request the schedule where it says, I request the schedule changes above and agree to pay any charges resulting from this change. And this will happen, especially as I stated before, if this class has been certified. This is something I want you to pay attention. As I stated, if this class has been certified and you have received money for this class in accordance to VA, and you're dropping this class, be advised you will be required to pay money back to this class, and you have to initial buy this. And of course, it's going to ask for your signature and date, and this will be processed accordingly. And it has information on how you can return this form back to us. So that's basically on what you would need to complete in regards to the add drop form, and that's basically the add drop process. So if you had any questions in regards to the add drop process, if you had any questions in regards to the drops for non-payment, any concerns about that, you're more than welcome to contact our office. You're more than welcome to email us. But basically, that's all I had for you today. Those are the biggest concerns we had about. Do we have any questions thus far?
There are none in the chat. I'm not sure if Mariceli has any from Facebook.
No questions at this time.
Great.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for you this month. I thank all of y'all for attendance, and I look forward to speaking to all again next month.
All right, Sharon, just Patrice, real quick, if you can just kind of summarize how they can contact you if questions do come up.
Oh,
If you
yes.
have a live chat or email.
Yes, about that. Yes, that's true. Oh, yes. And in regards to how you can get in contact with us, we do have a live chat. We have a live chat here, and let me show you how we can you can actually access that. If you go to our website at www.ctcd.edu, if you go to students and military veterans, here off to the left side, if you have any questions, you can go to our live help chat. We have live help Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and from Friday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we have staff members that are willing, ready, and able to help you with any questions that you might have. And if you don't get anybody right off, then what happens is your questions will go directly to an email. And that email will be answered by anybody that's going to go ahead and respond to that email, and you'll get a response back. But either way, you will get an answer to your question.
Great, thank you for that. All right, I don't see any other questions come through, and Mariceli says she has none. So any last parting words of wisdom, Patrice?
Okay, no, the only thing I have to say is if there's any other concerns that you feel you want to address, any specific questions, we are here to assist you to help you get through this period. Other than that, I wish all of you well. We look forward to assisting you during this continued registration period with this summer coming up. And all I say is continue to stay safe and be careful.
Right. Can we share your email address with the students?
Absolutely. If you have any questions, my personal email address is pkennerson@ctcd.edu.
There we go. All right, we thank you so much, Patrice. We truly appreciate your time this morning. And again, the Veteran Services will be a recurring CTC live session the second Thursday of every month. So the next one will be Thursday, April 8th, and Patrice will be back with some more insightful information on Veteran Services. And if there's anything that you encounter between now and then, or any of your other students encounter between now and then that have questions, feel free to join us then, and we'll get those questions answered for you. So again, thank you, Patrice, and thank you everyone for tuning in today. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you all.